Hey, Simply Sugar here. I want to talk about the Supreme Court and the Voting Rights Act. What's being argued here? What's going on? So, the Supreme Court is set to rule on key aspects of the Voting Rights Act, especially provisions that guard against discriminatory practices in voting and redistricting. Central questions include whether Section 2's protection can be used to challenge racially gerrymandered districts and whether states can implement laws like stricter ID requirements or limitations in mail in ballots that some argue disproportionately affect minority voters because it does, and that is the purpose of it. Plaintiffs argue these protections are essential to preventing subtle forms of disenfranchisement that persist despite formal equality. Opponents counter that such federal oversight infringes on states' rights, that modern conditions render some of the VRA's tools obsolete. The court decision could either reassert strong federal oversight on elections or significantly curtail the reach of civil rights enforcement in voting. Now, if you listen to the oral arguments, I listened to some, I didn't listen to all because this is weighing heavily on my soul, and I plan on listening to the full argument. But what I could hear, or what I did hear, was the Supreme Court leaning towards getting rid of this act and furthering discrimination towards Black and brown people. Again, vote because it matters. If it didn't, they wouldn't be doing this right now. They wouldn't be challenging it. What's the impact on redistricting and electoral maps? If the court narrows the Voting Rights Act's reach, states might push for more aggressive redistricting plans with less legal exposure to challenge. Changes could weaken protections against laws that restrict voting by mail, impose burdensome ID rules, or limit early voting. All issues with demonstrated disparities across demographic groups. Do you want to line up for 36 hours to try to vote and then for it to not count after midnight? These are some of the rules and they could impart on us where, you can't vote. And what happens to the disabled, the elderly who can't get out, who vote by mail, or just for the convenience of voting? There has never been large fraud with mail-in ballots. The fraud has always, in my opinion, recently, and I don't want to talk about the last election, is, Elon Musk and his meanderings in our voting system. With redrawn districts and changes to voting right access, the political playing field could shift. Some analysts project that the party of control of the state legislators in GOP-run states could leverage new maps voting rules to gain up to 30 additional seats in the U.S. Precedent for federal oversight, the ruling will influence how much power the federal government holds in safeguarding elections integrity, policing discrimination, election practices, and enforcing national standards across states. This is going to be a huge issue. This is a big one to watch. I don't have any faith in our Supreme Court, and they all need to get the hell out of there, in my opinion. There needs to be a change of the old guard, and October 18th, and our voices keep getting heard, or hopefully will incite some change for No King's Day.